The Legacy of John Candy, America's Uncle, by Brianna Benezich. From Planes, Trains, and Automobiles to Uncle Buck, comedy actor John Candy dominated the late 80s childhood.
Oh, come on, pal, you don't mean that.
Born in Ontario, Canada, and becoming a household name in the United States thanks to his role on the influential Canadian sketch series SCTV, John Candy quickly became an influential comic actor. From Gus Polinski, the polka king of the Midwest, to Barf, half man, half dog, John Candy was known for making an appearance, big or small, feel larger than life.
Oh, look, it's got a mind of its own, sweetheart. I can't do a thing with it.
John Candy's characters being larger than life matched with his own personality, which seemed to be that of a giant teddy bear. The director who best utilized this lovable star is arguably John Hughes, the king of 80s films. With Hughes' films Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, The Great Outdoors, and Uncle Buck, John Candy was able to bring his larger-than-life personality to starring roles.
Big Bear, chase! Big Bear, chase!
What is he saying?
What? Big Bear, chase me!
These films, being more family-oriented than his previous vehicles like Blue Brothers or Stripes, caused John Candy to cement himself in the childhoods of many, becoming America's uncle. Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. 1987's Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, starring John Candy and Steve Martin, offered families a fun Thanksgiving road trip comedy. John Candy's shower ring salesman, Del Griffith, is the opposite of Steve Martin's Neil Page, a cynic who is trying to make it home for the holidays.
Oh, he's drunk! How would he know where we're going?
Candy's Del is a lovable oaf who's clumsy, loud, and can go on and on telling meaningless stories. He's kind of like that uncle you see on the holidays who you dread listening to his endless stories. While this character can be annoying, Candy plays him with charm and respect, showcasing that Del really is a good person at heart, always trying to help Neil make it home for Thanksgiving.
Now I'll move my car, but I want you to help him up. No!
Del knows his values and isn't ashamed of how he can be viewed. In one of the film's most memorable scenes, Del tells the angry Neil, "Yeah, you're right, I talk too much. I also listen too much. I could be a cold-hearted cynic like you, but I don't like to hurt people's feelings. Well, you think what you want about me. I'm not changing. I like me."
My wife likes me. My customers like me. Because I'm the real article.
With Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, Hughes portrays Neil as a tense upper-class workaholic and Del as a joyous but lonely working-class man. This can especially be seen with the character's clothes. Neil sporting a suit the entire time, and Del wearing a laughably puffy blue coat. This too can be seen in the actions of the characters, especially Candy's performance. While Neil is constantly stressed and worried, Del is more calm and happy-go-lucky, working well with Candy's physical comedy. This can especially be seen in the hilarious scene of Candy pretending to play piano on the dashboard when he really should be looking at the road. Part of Candy's appeal to audiences was that he often played working-class men, shedding a positive light on them. This applies everywhere, where despite Del's annoying tendencies, he has a good heart. Everyone who helps the duo on their journey are people who Del has either asked or people who owed Del a favor, showing the working-class mentality of teamwork that Neil, a workaholic individualist, does not have. This theme of teamwork and helping each other connected with family audiences, especially around the holidays.
Del, what are you doing here?
The most memorable aspect of the film is the end, where Neil learns that Del has no one to spend the holidays with since his wife died a few years back.
Okay, say hello to Marie for me. I feel like I know her.
Yeah.
This leads Neil to bring Del to his home, introducing him to his family, thus welcoming Neil into the family. The film freezes on Candy's face as he looks on with love. This ending is what sits with audiences, the theme of caring for one another and spending time with loved ones.
Look, I won't stay long or anything. Maybe I'll just come in and say hi and then I'll be on my way, all right?
The ending also helps solidify why audiences associate John Candy with that heartwarming emotion, that feeling of warmth, that feeling of looking forward to hearing your uncle's long stories. While John Hughes' Planes, Trains, and Automobiles was his way of separating himself from the teen movies he was known for, it was also many families' introduction to John Candy. The Great Outdoors. 1988's The Great Outdoors, starring John Candy and Dan Aykroyd, is John Hughes' take on the all-American camping trip. John Candy's Chet Ripley takes his family to a lake house for the summer, hoping to reconnect with nature from their busy Chicago home.
Why is it that Chet's kids look at him like he's Zeus? My kids look at me like I'm a rack of yard tools at Sears.
This vacation is soon interrupted by Chet's rich and big-headed brother-in-law, Aykroyd's Roman, and his family, who, rather than reconnecting with nature, wants to partake in extravagant activities. The film, like Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, was a big hit with families, becoming a summer staple, similarly to how Candy's prior collaboration with Hughes became a holiday staple. Candy, specifically playing a lovable everyman in this film, further solidified himself as a lovable figure in comedy.
Hey, come on, watch the paint job. Hey, shoot.
The size of those teeth.
Similarly to Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, The Great Outdoors deals with the class differences of the leading men. Aykroyd's Roman is a wealthy investment broker, always bragging about his luxury goods and trying to con some poor schmuck into his next scheme. He doesn't like roughing it, and he tries to compensate for how he can't handle the ruggedness of the wilderness. Candy's Chet, on the other hand, is implied to be middle or working class, not being as wealthy as Roman.
You wouldn't understand.
Chet, also unlike Roman, likes to get his hands dirty and loves nature, even priding himself on the time he shot at a ferocious bear. Candy's Chet is yet another positive portrayal of the middle class, both being at one with nature and being a better husband and father than Roman. The latter can be seen throughout the film in how Chet always jokes with his wife, Connie, Stephanie Pharisee, and plans activities with his son, Chris Young and Ian Giotti.
All right. But you gotta promise me, when you get back, we're gonna spend some time together.
Right.
That's why we're up here, you know.
Meanwhile, Roman's wife, Katie, Annette Bening, needs her washing machine to feel the sexual satisfaction that Roman can't provide, and Roman can barely tell his twin daughters, Hillary and Rebecca Gordon, apart. Candy's performance in The Great Outdoors arguably appealed to kids more than his performance in Planes, Trains, and Automobiles due to the large amount of slapstick. Candy, despite being a larger man, was impeccable at slapstick. This can be seen in two memorable bits in the film. In one bit, Chet is helping his son gain confidence to water ski, but thanks to Roman, he accidentally ends up water skiing himself. This leads to the audience witnessing a helpless John Candy bumping into other boats, crashing into waves, and even falling over into the lake. Seeing Candy bumping around the water brings the same amount of joy as seeing your drunk uncle trying to show off and fail miserably. Another memorable scene of the film is where Chet is challenged to finish the old 96er, an impossibly big steak at a restaurant. Candy's disgust and fear over the massive steak both breaks away from comedy expectations of larger men and offers a memorable bit. These scenes of lighthearted humor appeal to kids and families alike, solidifying John Candy as a household name. Uncle Buck.
Who are you?
I'm your Uncle Buck.
The 1989 John Hughes film Uncle Buck is considered to be one of Candy's best films. Candy finally gets to play an uncle, Buck Russell, a working-class slob who has to babysit the kids of his yuppie brother and sister-in-law while they are away. The film then follows the shenanigans Uncle Buck gets into thanks to his brash and lovable nature, along with his presence improving the lives of his nieces, Tia and Maisie, played by Jean Louisa Kelly and Gabby Hoffman respectively, and his nephew Miles, Macaulay Culkin.
Are you my dad's brother?
What's your record for consecutive questions asked?
38.
I'm your dad's brother, all right.
You have much more hair on your nose than my dad.
Uncle Buck is where John Candy fully embraces his teddy bear energy, his your favorite uncle brand, to create a heartwarming and memorable film. Like Hughes' previous films, Uncle Buck yet again focuses on class differences. Buck's brother, Bob, Garrett M. Brown, and sister-in-law, Cindy, Elaine Bromka, are upper-class yuppies.
You ever hear of a ritual killing?
They live in the Chicago suburbs, and Bob has just received a good promotion at work. Despite their financial success, Bob and Cindy are emotionally distant from their children, especially Tia, their sullen teen. Uncle Buck, on the other hand, lives in a dirty Chicago apartment full of beer cans, cigars, and rigged racetrack tickets. Uncle Buck, unlike Bob and Cindy, is an open book. He says how he's feeling. He tries to make the lives of those around him better and is protective of those he loves. Uncle Buck does have a character transformation by the end, whereas time with the kids causes him to be more family-oriented than he once was. Uncle Buck's portrayal as a working-class man being the more positive role model to these kids is yet another heartfelt portrait of the working-class city man. Uncle Buck, more so than the previous films, acted as a hero to kids and teens alike. Candy's Uncle Buck berates a mean principal, cooks monstrously large pancakes, and even gets revenge on a cheating boyfriend.
Happy birthday!
He brings fun into the kids' lives and helps Tia become a better person. Outside of the outstanding comedy in Uncle Buck's antics, much of the film's focus is Uncle Buck's relationship with Tia as she disobeys him and as he tries to make her more emotionally vulnerable. She is a closed-off person, like her parents, and Uncle Buck tries to open her up through being at her side and trying to divert her away from her obvious asshole of a boyfriend, Bug, Jay Underwood, and yes, his name really is Bug.
Can we get something straight?
The guy's a predator and you're his prey.
Oh, really?
Buck and Tia's relationship really is the heart of the story, teaching young audiences about the importance of emotional vulnerability, especially with family members. Uncle Buck is overall the kind of guy who every kid wishes they had on their side. If Del Griffin was the annoying uncle and Chet was the everyman uncle, then Buck Russell is the favorite uncle, the uncle that you can't wait to visit. Conclusion.
Really appreciate it.
Hey, next time, let's go first class, all right?
After the success of Uncle Buck, John Candy went on to appear in more family classics, such as Disney's Cool Runnings and Rookie of the Year. He even had a Saturday morning cartoon, Camp Candy, where he played a camp counselor who taught outdoor skills to kids. Sadly, John Candy died in 1994 of a heart attack caused by his habit of binge eating under stress. To this day, John Candy is fondly remembered for being America's uncle, being a figure of positivity and laughter during many childhoods thanks to his vehicles with John Hughes.
They're doing the mess around.
John Candy and his films were childhood staples for many thanks to his working-class everyman charm and larger-than-life characters. Hopefully his films will continue to be passed down from generation to generation, keeping his legacy alive and impacting the childhoods of future generations.